So, hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niren here, and today it is time for a very interesting video indeed. Today, I'm going to be taking you on a career mode journey through every single FIFA that it has featured on. We're going to be going from FIFA 2005 all the way to current day to see how the game mode has changed, and also ranking which was the best one. Now obviously the ranking isn't going to just be, oh, the game was more developed by FIFA 18, therefore FIFA 18 is the best. We're going to be judging which was the most innovative, which was the best for its time. But if you go on to enjoy it, then make sure to slap a like on the video and subscribe if you are new to the channel. So first of all, we've got FIFA 2005. Now this was the first attempt, or first real attempt, at manager mode. FIFA 2004 technically had it, but we're not even going to discuss it because it was basically tournament mode. But FIFA 2005 comes in and it's a 15-season career mode with detailed coaching to help players grow. So you had the backroom staff basically that you could appoint and improve. Morale actually meant something back then. You could still make transfers and do your team management and all that sort of stuff. There wasn't much depth though in certain other areas, so transfers were very flawed. But it was a pretty good first attempt. You even had real life media who would pop up when like you signed for a new team as a manager or when you made a marquee signing. But just look at how old it looks. Jesus Christ. Overall though, it was a really good first attempt from EA in terms of career mode. You could tell that they'd worked on it for quite some time. And it's, you know, it might have been less detailed, but that was to be expected. So FIFA 06 comes along, and you can now start with most Premier League teams, unlike 2005. If you didn't know, 2005 you could only really start with a team from League 1 or below. But FIFA 06 you can now choose the majority of Premier League teams. You still can't choose the likes of Arsenal or Chelsea though as your first job. You've got to work your way to those. More realistic, but a little bit frustrating if that's your favourite team. Sponsorship offers are now a thing, and they're real. T-Mobile, BT were all options for your first sponsorship deal in your career mode, and you could still have the backroom staff that you had in FIFA 2005. Statistics were added to the game mode at this point, so you could check top goal scorers, etc., as well as board confidence and fan confidence to judge how well you were doing. In terms of the negatives, the limited bid system on transfers was slightly annoying. It meant that you couldn't go for a player if you made more than 3 bids for them. And also you could only select specific regions to operate in throughout the whole 15 seasons. So if you started in England, you'd only be able to play your career mode in England, France and Germany. FIFA 07 though comes along and that all changes. You can now go for any region whatsoever throughout the entirety of your save. Not gonna lie, FIFA 07 was one of my absolute favourite games, and the career mode on it was absolutely awesome. Youth academies were added in this FIFA, as well as clear board objectives. You've now got actual money as well. Beforehand, on FIFA 2005 and 06, you would deal in credits, whereas now you've got actual cash, pounds, euros, dollars, etc. We take shortlisting for granted, but before 2007 that wasn't a thing, and you can also now do scouting for young players as well. A couple of negatives though, sponsors are now made up at this point, and you've still got the limited bids in transfers, which was still pretty frustrating at times. FIFA 08 now, and if I'm being honest, this wasn't a very innovative game. It was still very good in terms of career mode, because it was largely the same as 2007, but there were a couple of changes. You could now choose your pre-season friendlies at this point, so you'd get a little menu at the start of each season, and you could physically go out and choose any team to do pre-season friendlies against. There was a better overall rating system for this game. It was a little bit more improved. Beforehand, you'd get people who were rated like 27, but then others who were like 94. It was a bit more compact by this point. You didn't have players with such low ratings. So now it's FIFA 2009, and this was another game that was more of a refined one rather than a game-changing one. Slicker menus, but with less personality in my opinion, and just less going on. I much prefer the menus from the olden days rather than the ones they had for 09 and FIFA 10. Some good stuff though, sponsors were still in it. I think ticket pricing was still in the game at this point, though it was removed pretty shortly afterwards, unfortunately. Internal memos were almost like interviews or just situations that would affect the morale and form of your team. That isn't the case anymore. I think it was ditched after FIFA 10. Another thing as well, which was quite cool about FIFA 09, was the EXP system, which was basically where your players would earn experience, and you could then spend that experience on, in essence, training them in certain areas of their game. Unfortunately for FIFA 09, seemingly youth academies were gone, but you could still scout for players. FIFA 10 now though, and that saw the introduction of the best overall system ever. So if you didn't know, the overall was based on a player's form in career mode in this game, much like the real life sort of system of kickoff in current FIFAs, where if a player is doing well, their attributes actually get better. I don't know why I didn't stay for longer, because it seemed perfect to me. FIFA 10 generally is a personal favourite of mine. You even got a league team of the season, player of the year, and young player of the year at the end of each season. Unfortunately though for this game, the transfer system was annoying as hell, especially when you had to wait for completed transfers when simming through days. But FIFA 11 next, and prepare for it to be absolutely ripped apart. So in terms of its look, it looked a lot better. Their menu was far better and had much more information than 09 and 10. And it added a news section on the main page. That is the end of the positives. Staff upgrades were removed, so you no longer had your backroom staff that you'd had for the previous 6 versions. Fan and board confidence was removed, so you would never be able to tell whether you were doing well. Scouting was removed at this point, so you had no youth whatsoever at this point. Sponsors were removed at this point. They'd gone from being real to made up by FIFA 08, I believe, but then in FIFA 11 they were removed completely. Internal memos have now been removed as well for FIFA 11, and you can no longer choose friendly teams, they're chosen for you. Generally this game was style over substance, and FIFA 11 is pretty much the reason why modern FIFA is lacking so much in career mode features. FIFA 12 now, and things are starting to return. Youth academies came back along with scouting. Player storylines were also introduced when it came to retiring and wanting to leave, so if a player is involved in a transfer saga, this was the career mode where that started. Deadline day now becomes its own thing, and it's gone from being just 1 day to being 10 simulated hours, which in fairness was pretty cool. And generally speaking, FIFA 12 was actually a very fun game to play in terms of gameplay, which obviously helped the career mode be a lot more exciting. Unfortunately though, it was still lacking multiple features from previous games because of FIFA 11 really. Growth wasn't that great either, so young players who were like 16 would still only grow by like 2 points a season. So FIFA 13, international management was added to the game. Unfortunately it didn't have much depth, and quite frankly it still doesn't, so it became stale quite quickly to be honest, but at least it was a good idea. FIFA 13 was fun in terms of gameplay once again, and in terms of transfers, this was the point at which you could start offering trade deals, future fees, and also counter offers from the AI. One massive negative with this game that was inevitably patched but carried on until October was the fact there was a massive game-ending freeze at various points during the career mode save, but once you reach that freeze point, you wouldn't be able to get past it. That's like the end of your career mode save. It would completely ruin a save like 2 seasons in. So for FIFA 14, we've now got the new current menu design for this game, the sort of tile system, and we've got GTN scouting, which was good on the face of it, but absolutely horrendous in practice. Scouts took way too long to come back with their reports, and big players weren't already known when really they should have been in real life. So after the tragedy of GTN scouting on FIFA 14, FIFA 15 came about and improved it slightly, but it was still terrible. Player growth was now quicker for youngsters, which was a lot better than previous FIFAs. You've now got 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds growing by maybe +5 or +6 in a season. However, all the changes were still small. There's really minimal effort going into the game, especially when all EA have to do really is look back at FIFA 07 and just reintroduce a lot of the things from that. On to FIFA 16, we've got new menus in terms of like colour schemes and stuff, but it's still kind of the same as 14 and 15. Training is now added, and pre-season tournaments competing for cash are now introduced as well. These are probably 2 of the best additions to career mode in recent times, hence it was a pretty good game to play. However, the gameplay was pretty shocking in comparison to FIFA 15, with dull AI that would focus mainly on defending, and it was literally impossible to loan players out, and very hard to sell players this time as well. 1 year on and we move to FIFA 17, so the last game, or the penultimate game, sorry, we're going to look at. We've now got customizable managers, and transfers were pretty realistic in this game, which was good, in fairness, in terms of buying them anyway. Nothing else changed. Total club management was absolutely awful and completely pointless. It was still extremely hard to sell players, and gameplay, although better than FIFA 16, was still really, really terrible. Like, the AI was so annoying. So now we officially arrive at the present day, and FIFA 18. Better AI, thankfully, for this game, although that was ruined by a recent patch. Interactive transfer negotiations are sick, and did add something to the game. I don't really even think they've become that stale recently either. Personally, I still think they're quite a good addition. The release clause system and squad hub are also very good additions, as well as the transfer hub. However, some features haven't changed in 5 years going into this game, including youth academies and simmed games. And incredibly, it's still lacking so many features that made the career mode game mode so much better 11 years ago. So some of you will have obviously come here to see the transition of FIFA Career Mode, but if you're here for the ranking of each one, then here we go. I'm going to keep this pretty swift because I've talked about them in detail already, but in 14th place and last, FIFA 11, because it literally removed every single good thing from FIFA 10, the game before. After that, we've got FIFA 14, just generally it just wasn't a fun game. FIFA 13 after that would have been much higher, actually, had it not been for that ridiculous game-breaking freeze that happened in the first 2 months of the game being out. It ruined a couple of my saves, and for that, I don't really rate it that highly. In at number 11, we've got FIFA 17, because it did nothing. There was no change to that game. After that, we've got FIFA 15, better GTN scouting and a couple of new things, but again, just didn't really change that much, to be honest with you, and that's the reason why a lot of these games are so far down the list. FIFA 2005 comes next. It was great for its time, but obviously it was massively lacking a lot of things, hence the amount of things that changed in 2006 and 2007. And then after that, FIFA 09 and also FIFA 12 at 8 and 7 respectively. I mean, there's not really much to say about these games. They were pretty decent. The career mode was good, not absolutely revolutionary, but, you know, good. And number 6, quite high up actually, maybe people will be surprised by this, but FIFA 18, it's one that I've not really got into in terms of actual video making, but I can understand and recognise that the quality of the actual game mode is pretty decent. They've genuinely added some cool things like the cutscenes for this game. At number 5 is FIFA 08. It's only really lower than some of the ones around it because it didn't really change that much again. Very good game mode, did improve a couple of things, but generally not a huge amount of effort was put into it. At number 4 is FIFA 16. Really for personal reasons, this one was just probably the most fun I've ever had when it comes to, you know, making YouTube videos. The FIFA 16 Career Mode series was the one that I enjoyed the most. I enjoyed playing that game a hell of a lot, and it added stuff like training and pre-season tournaments, and it stayed fresh for a lot longer than some of the other modern FIFA career modes. Now onto the podium places, and at number 3, although obviously in terms of quality when playing the game now, it would be nowhere near the likes of FIFA 18, but FIFA 06, for its time, had an incredible career mode. It added so much in comparison to FIFA 2005, and was honestly way ahead of its time. And just ahead of that in P2 is FIFA 07. Again, for personal reasons, I enjoyed playing that one a lot more than 06. I think it flowed a little bit better, it was a lot quicker in terms of the menus, and it also added stuff like scouting and just a couple of other things that were omitted from FIFA 06. But at number 1, I'm sure you'll know already which one I'm going to pick. For gold, it is FIFA 10. What a career mode this was. The best overall system, as I've mentioned. Don't know why it was omitted from games in the future. It was great. It was so fun to play. It didn't get old. And it was the last real classic career mode before they pretty much scrapped all the stuff that made it good in the first place. So FIFA 10 is my personal favourite career mode, but let me know what you think is the best career mode in the comments section. Which FIFA had the best manager mode or career mode as it's now known? I do want to hear what you guys have to say. Regardless of that though, that is going to end today's nostalgia journey of looking through old FIFA career modes and judging which has been the best of all time so far. If you've enjoyed the video, then make sure to slap a like on it and subscribe, of course, if you are new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media these days. My Twitter handle is @theofficialfng and my Instagram is @theofficialfng as well. But if you don't do anything else, then please make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed, because we're looking for 50,000 subscribers before the end of 2017, and by jingo, is it going to be close. Anyway, that is it from me. It's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
Yo, Massappeals.
I roll out with some monsters. Looks like your team and you watchers. I do not roll with imposters. Sound like the man in the Oscars. I'm drunk of Henny and Fosters. I have a career, I am jobless. This bitch have me so hard, I might just end up unconscious. I like girls in lingerie, especially if it is crotchless. Bitch, I am the bigger picture. There is no way you can crop us.